It's now time for business on Joy News Prime. Tonight, banks will slow down lending to the private sector come next year. That's the assertion by financial and banking analyst Christian Tishijan. Now, Fish Solutions has already projected a further 200 basis point increase in the policy rate of the Bank of Ghana to 29% in 2023. This is coming on the back of rising inflation and challenges facing the economy. Mrs. Tishijan tells Joy Business that organizations should judiciously use the operational funds to keep their businesses running.
What is happening with the debt exchange program and all of that, liquidity is actually going to be stifled in the system as far as the banks are concerned. So this definitely is a very big discouragement to them. Some might not even be getting access to those credits. I'm suspecting that a lot of the banks will be doing the consumables and the fast-moving consumable products. So as much as possible, you should stay away from credit because so far as the cost goes high, and then they being rational economic agents and trying to bill the final consumer with these costs is going to get very, very interesting. So we are expecting that definitely people who are really not in dire need of credit support should stay away and try to turn around with their operational funds to ensure that there is a bit of stability in the business model that they are actually applying.
And how does this impact on the banking sector?
Yes, a lot, because if you look at what the government is trying to do with the debt exchange program, it actually anticipates that there's going to be liquidity challenges, and therefore it has set up that liquidity support of about 15 billion to help with the financial institutions. But for me, it's not going to be enough. It's also put up certain measures where the daily vault balances are actually reviewed here and there. The costs to all of these hikes are sometimes it gets quite interesting, but definitely and generally things are going to get very stiff for a lot of the universal banks in struggling for liquidity.
Economist and Professor of Finance at the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Godfred Bokpin, is warning of the collapse of the financial sector if government includes treasury bills in the debt exchange program. Speaking on the Super Morning Show, Professor Bokpin expressed unhappiness about the inclusion of the individual bondholders in the program, describing the move as a wholesale approach. Take a listen.
I am not expecting that in the immediate government will make any announcement of roping in treasury bills. What it will mean is that the regime will collapse, because that is the only source of funding now to the government, apart from Bank of Ghana essentially sustaining the government on its balancing. Okay, so but the way things are going is very difficult to trust government and their statement. That's unfortunate, right? So, but for now, government will keep that window open as a way of interacting with the market. From the approach government has adopted and the terms is that by the time we are done, if government is unwilling to accommodate further revision to the terms of the domestic exchange, we will systematically weaken the balance sheet of the participating financial institutions.
Let's now turn our attention to the agri sector, because the Chief Executive of the Agribusiness Chamber, Anthony Morrison, has said the prices of foodstuff will continue to increase if farmers do not get the needed support. Government in the 2023 budget announced an agri insurance package for farmers, but speaking on the marketplace, Anthony Morrison said the farmers rather need support with the cost of production, and that should be prioritized rather than investment in insurance.
As far as the cost of farming an acre of rice, maize, soya continue to increase, you expect that the farmers will also increase their cost of production to be able to mitigate the investment that they are putting into it. So these are very important things that we need to look at. We need to look at the national kind of policy. What kind of mitigation point? For instance, government is talking about the economic enclave project. For me, we're having about 3 million farmers who are in need of serious support. So I don't believe in that kind of economic enclave project, okay? Because it is industrial driven. Now we are more talking about food security, where Ghana's food security index has reduced. We have seen in the budget some $400 and something million being made available for insurance. Meanwhile, the cost of the production or productivity in the agriculture sector continue to reduce. So why do you put money into insurance when we do not even have the food at all?
Okay.
So government for me have to set out their priorities right. We need to be engaging on global level as to what global trends are going and what we should do as a country to make sure that first we are food secure, two, we are able to drive the agro-industry export, and three, we are able to provide enough for our own industry.
That'll be it for business with me, Charles Ayittey. The bulletin continues. To stay with us.